SolarByGreenGreg here, and today we're going to talk about the Solar Tax Credit 2025 Explained and the one mistake homeowners make and how you can avoid it. By the way, the Solar Tax Credit goes by several different names, such as the Investment Tax Credit or ITC. You will often see this on a solar proposal. Some people also call it the Solar Energy Tax Credit. The IRS calls it the Residential Clean Energy Property Credit, but it's all the same thing. But I will be using these terms interchangeably. So in this video, I'll be talking about what solar equipment is eligible. How much is the solar tax credit? What is the solar energy tax credit? How the solar tax credit works. Solar tax credit FAQs. And how to claim the solar tax credit. Let's get into it. Just a quick disclaimer here. This video is a simplified explanation to create awareness. I am not a tax accountant. Please consult with a tax accountant for personalized advice. Information given here is based on my interpretation and opinion from the 2024 IRS Form 5695 documents and online research. Because of limited time, information in this video may not be complete. I highly suggest reading the most recent version of these IRS documents for complete details and requirements. Any information in this video is subject to change. The information provided here is for general knowledge and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. Thank you so much. Let's get to it. What solar energy equipment qualifies for the solar tax credit? Solar equipment installed at home, including home solar panels, which we call solar PV. This is solar panels for electric generation. Home battery backup. Solar hot water systems. Solar ag fans. But solar pool heaters do not qualify for the solar tax credit. Yeah, I know, and I agree. However, the IRS very specifically says solar pool heaters do not qualify. But, solar pool heaters do have a lower price tag, and I do recommend them. They're pretty great. Hey, if you learned something so far, hey, before you forget, hey, please hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. This lets YouTube know that this content is valuable and shows it to more homeowners just like you. Thank you so much. Let's continue. So how much is the solar tax credit? Well, through 2032, it's 30%. Through 2033, it's 26%. Through 2034, it's 22%. And 2035, it's 0. I should mention, by the way, that in this video, I'm only talking about the residential solar tax credit. There is a different tax credit and incentives for commercial solar. So how to claim the solar tax credit? Well, there's the IRS Form 5695 called the Residential Energy Credits Form. This is the form that's used to claim the solar federal tax credit. I also recommend reading the instructions for the Form 5695. This has a lot of helpful information and answers some FAQs. I also recommend reading the Clean Energy Fact Sheet. Again, this answers a lot of FAQs that you may have. So the federal solar tax credit, number one misunderstanding. Let's get to that. The solar tax credit is a credit against your income tax liability. It is not a rebate. I often see this mistake happen, maybe by the homeowner or maybe whoever told them about solar has misinterpreted this. It's not a rebate. So let me get into more detail about this. So solar panel tax credits, are they refundable or non-refundable? The IRS has said that the solar panel tax credit is not refundable. And so this means you don't just automatically get a check back after income taxes. It's a credit against your tax liability. So can you actually get a check from the solar tax credit? Yes, if your tax withholding is more than your tax liability. And I'll go more in detail on this. How does the solar tax credit work? Well, first, let's talk about how to calculate the solar tax credit. The solar tax credit for 2025 is 30%. So here's an example. Let's say the solar system costs $30,000. This is mid-range. The solar tax credit is 30%. That's $9,000, leaving you with a net cost of $21,000. Now, let's look at how this works with your taxes. Now, often you'll have a W-2 or maybe got investments that are taxable, and you'll have federal tax withheld, right? Let's just say in this example, it's $5,000. Now, let's say your tax liability in your 1040 is $5,000, okay? Now, of course, they usually don't match. Sometimes you withheld too much money or not enough, but for ease of example, let's just say it's $5,000. In this case, normally, okay, you wouldn't owe anything and you wouldn't get any refund, okay? But now in this case, we have that tax credit above for $9,000. So what would happen is, since your tax liability is $5,000, $5,000 of the tax credit will be applied. Your tax liability is now zero, and you would actually get a refund of $5,000 because, again, you actually withheld more money than was needed to pay your taxes. So you get a $5,000 refund. That's how you get a check, okay? Now you'll note above, we have a $9,000 tax credit though. And see, the thing is though, you could only apply the amount of tax credit that you have that matches the income taxes, okay? So what would happen in this case is $4,000 will be carried forward to your next tax return and then carry forward until you use up that tax credit, okay? Now, if there was a situation where you actually had a tax liability of $9,000 in this case, then you could actually use all $9,000. And you would actually get, again, if you withheld more than $9,000, you'd actually get a $9,000 check back, okay? So that's how it works. This is very, very important and number one reason why I did this video. The tax credit applied cannot exceed the liability. Again, this works differently than some other tax credits. The other thing I want to say is, many people go solar through various means. If you got a solar lease, a PPA, power purchase agreement, or community solar, in these situations, the company gets the tax credit, not the homeowner, okay? You must own the solar system to claim the tax credit. This means you paid cash or a loan to purchase a solar system. This is so important. So if you want the tax credit, again, pay cash or loan. How does the solar panels tax credit work if I don't owe taxes or pay very little then? Then you might not be able to use the solar tax credit soon. It might be spread over many years if you pay very little. But if you pay no income taxes and you're not planning on paying income taxes in future years, you may want to consider community solar, a solar lease, or a solar PPA. Or you might be able to sell the tax credit to a third party. That'd be a totally separate video. How many years can you claim the solar tax credit? You can only claim the solar tax credit for a single year, the year in which you installed your new solar energy system. May a taxpayer carry forward unused solar tax credits to another tax year? You can carry forward the residential clean energy property tax credit. A taxpayer may carry forward the unused amount of the credit to reduce the tax liability in future tax years. How do I use the solar tax credit to pay down my loan? This is a great question. So this all depends on your loan terms, but the most common practice is the loan payment assumes that the 30% solar panels tax credit will be used to pay down the principal by the 18th month. Why the 18th month? Because that allows you to get through 2 tax years in case you can't use the full tax credit in one go, in 1 year. Okay. So when a homeowner gets the tax refund, they should send a payment to the lender equal to the 30% tax credit. Failure to do so will result in a higher payment and more interest. This may vary by lender and loan plan, and your loan may be different, so please check your loan terms. And there's the disclaimer again. I will leave the IRS Forms 5695 instructions, the fact sheet, and the Form 5695 links in the pinned comments for your reference. SolarByGreenGreg here. I hope you found this video helpful. On this channel, we cover home solar PV and battery, solar pool heating, and energy efficiency. And I'll do it all without any sort of sales talk or clickbait. Listen, I'm a homeowner too. I know how it is. Sometimes you're just trying to get information, right? Hey, if that's you, you're just looking for information, you're in the right spot. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And hey, in the comments, let me know where you're from. It's always fun to know where people are from and how far my voice is reaching to help people with solar and energy efficiency. Thank you so much. Have a great sunny day. Bye-bye for now. Here's the next video.